can't cheat me out my hug. Aloha kako. Mahalo for allowing me to share my story with you this morning. I'm really excited to be here. Like David mentioned, my name is Kealoha Nui Browning. A lot of people call me Nui or Kealoha for short. And I'm often referred to as Denise Nakanishi's daughter, which is totally fine with me. I'm proud to be that little firecrackers kid. If you know my family, you might know that most of the women who are biologically related to me carry the BRCA2 gene mutation. I also carry this gene mutation, and it's found in less than 1% of the population, which means that yes, me and my ohana are extra special. While 12% of women in the general population will be diagnosed with breast cancer in their lifetime, carriers of the BRCA gene mutation have a 50 to 85% chance of being diagnosed before the age of 70, and tend to get diagnosed at younger ages with more aggressive cancers. I was diagnosed at age 35 with stage 2, grade 3 breast cancer. Grade 3 just means basically that it's a very fast advancing cancer. Unfortunately, my older sister, Mealoha, she was also a carrier of the BRCA2 gene, and the doctors described her cancer as one of the most aggressive that they'd ever seen. She passed away 9 months after her diagnosis at the age of 42, just this last November. I have to admit, before being diagnosed with cancer, I never thought about volunteering for anything cancer related or giving money to anything cancer related, because there's just so many things to, so many cancer organizations. It just kind of seemed trendy or something, and like, what good is my little contribution gonna do? Then I got diagnosed and reality hit. I'd need a bilateral mastectomy, multiple reconstruction surgeries, an oophorectomy, removal of your ovaries before I'm 45. That word really cracks me up every time. It's premature like that. And I would also need 9 months of chemotherapy. I realized working full-time wasn't going to be possible and started looking for grant money. But to my surprise, even with all these organizations, a lot of them were tapped out. They didn't have money to give. And most of them will give only to stage 4 cancer patients, which are basically patients that are not curable. The short version is cancer is super time consuming and expensive, and I cried a lot in the beginning, not because I was scared of the diagnosis, but more because the logistics of the whole thing was just super frustrating. It's not like you can just say, oh well, Airbnb is extra expensive this month, let me wait a few months till it's more affordable, and then I'll have surgery. The cheapest lodging I could find for my first surgery would cost me $6,000. Luckily, my surgeon referred me to the Hope Lodge. At first, I was pretty nervous about staying at the lodge. Each time I've had to stay for at least 3 weeks, and that's a long time to stay somewhere where you're not comfortable. There are some rules that seem kind of restrictive, so I was a little worried about that, and I was concerned about the cleanliness and having to share a kitchen space. And what if the staff sucked? And what if the patients were grumpy and depressed? Worried about all of this stuff. But I'm happy to report that the Hope Lodge is exactly the opposite of every negative thing I imagined. The grounds are gorgeous, the rooms are super clean, the kitchen is huge and beautiful and equipped with everything you'd need, even if you're channeling your inner Sam Choi. In fact, I think Sam Choi was there the week before my first stay, and he cooked for all of the guests. The staff, volunteers, and patients all become like family. The patients become support for each other, and the caretakers say that they feel supported too. Most people don't realize that caretaking is a really hard and stressful job. One of the volunteers, Kellen, still calls to check on me on a regular basis. He just called me on Monday, by the way. I'm pretty sure I will always consider him one of my closest friends. After a day or so at the Hope Lodge, you start feeling like it's your home. In fact, I found myself like grazing in the kitchen on a regular basis because there's always those few people that just love cooking and baking, and they just spoil everyone with treats left out on the counter. I was there last year on Valentine's Day, and a group from Guam made a Chamorro feast. It was so much fun. There are also people from American Samoa and almost every island, every outer island. It's really cool. You get to learn so much from each other, not just about your cancer, but about culture, different cultures. And the place is just filled with so much love. I never want to go home when I'm at the Hope Lodge, but they make you leave eventually. And now when I'm in Oahu, I sometimes stop by just to say hello. Cancer is definitely not something you want to ever hear coming out of your doctor's mouth. But for some of us, it's a reality. And I'm so grateful for the American Cancer Society, and I can't say enough for the Hope Lodge. I encourage you all to stop by when you're in Oahu and see for yourself. It's beautiful, and I'm certain even a quick pop by will fill your heart. Mahalo for allowing me to share with you today, and I'm happy to answer anyone's questions you have after.